Sportsline, live in the studio. Thanks for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. A lot of great feedback there. Verizon 32 everywhere. Appreciate that. And Pittsburgh Sportsline is up to, I don't know the latest, I saw 2755 on Facebook, so thank you very much for that. It's a great day outside. I hope you're enjoying your dinner, Chief. We've got a couple chuckles for you and some good talk about, well, we'll talk about the NCAA in a few minutes. Chip's grinning like a Cheshire cat. So we'll see what happens. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip the Prophet Hayner. He did predict something, so we'll talk about it. Smoking Jim Frazier. Zach Brenner. And we start out with the first segment. What's on your mind, Zach Brenner?
Well, Al Levine, the talking machine. I'm going to tell you folks at home what's on my mind this evening, and that's March Madness. And isn't it ironic that now March Madness doesn't even end in March? It actually finishes in April. But what a great game we had last night, folks, between the UConn Huskies and the Wildcats of Kentucky. The freshman five for Kentucky just got overwhelmed by, just guard play that was undescribable to me, because some of the three-pointers that Napier was making were just out of this league and out of this world. But like I said, another congratulations to the UConn Huskies. Chip Hayner predicted it last night. Not that he had it in his bracket overall from the beginning of the tournament, because I can't find a single person that actually had UConn.
Nobody did.
No,
Nobody did.
No. Well, some diehards in UConn probably, like people that picked Pitt to win it all.
Did pick it, but he forgot to save it, so he lost $100,000.
Well, congratulations to you, sir. You, my friend, are a winner, but a loser at the same rate. But what's on my mind? If you folks haven't done so yet, I advise you to do so. Go get you a copy of Pittsburgh Sportsline, the magazine, the best magazine in the city of Pittsburgh. Smoking Jim Frazier has one article in it, and no Gateway is not mentioned in the article. This time. But that's what's on my mind, folks. Go out and get your edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline, the magazine. It's free. It's all over the city.
Thanks, Zach Brenner. I appreciate that magazine promo. Now I don't have to, hold on a second. I don't have to do that. What's that? Oh, here we go.
Well, that already happened.
Yeah, but that's the back cover. If they flip over, they won't know it's the magazine. Now they know. All right. Smoking Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. Want to give a shout out to a Point Park student that's here, Naeem, a great young man that served our country very well in the Marine Corps. And I tell you what, this guy's a visionary. He's a dreamer. He's an entrepreneur. So he's going to be shadowing me this week. I'm going to have to get him with Al Levine, the talking machine, and do some networking, because this young man is heading to the top of the mountain. But what's on my mind is, first of all, shout out to Jim Kaiser, a friend of the show. He gave me the tip on Kentucky by 7. And so I put heavy money, not heavy money, but serious money on Kentucky. But I tell you what, anytime Jim Kaiser gives me a tip, I'm going to continue to bet, won a lot of money with Jim. But what's on my mind, actually, is I'd like to go over the Pittsburgh Steelers free agents. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers did a bad job in the offseason in terms of free agents. A lot of these guys, I have not seen them play professionally. Mike Mitchell was an outstanding safety at the University of Ohio. I had him ranked number 1 when he was coming out. I don't know what kind of ball player he is now, 5 years into the NFL, but he's 6 foot, 210 pounds. The Pittsburgh Steelers got lucky to get LeGarrette Blount. Anytime you get a 6 foot, 250 pound running back that runs angry, but hopefully LeGarrette Blount, who probably was the Golden Glove boxing champion of Oregon, so hopefully he can stay out of trouble. Lance Moore is a cookie cutter wide receiver. He's 30 years old, 5'9", 190, just an average guy, wasting money, dragging him in here. But Darius Hayward Bay. Now we got 2 Haywards on the team. And Ironhead Hayward was a great player at Pitt. So anytime you say Hayward is pretty good, guy got great speed. 6'2", 220 pounds, ran a 4.25 40 was one of his best. When he was at Maryland, he ran a 4.23, which is still a record there. So he stretch the field, take the top off the coverage. Don't have the greatest hands in the world, but when you got a great quarterback like Magnificent Seven, Big Ben Roethlisberger, when he scrambles around, those guys can get open deep, and he can launch one up there, and Bay may work out for them. Bryce McCain, 5'9", 187 pounds. At Utah, he's a bum. He got all the speed in the world. He's a cornerback. I don't know who's going to be the worst between him and Willie Gay.
The rabbit.
But they're going to be fighting for the Toast Award. But this guy is fast. He runs a 4.3 40. He can help you on special teams, but he couldn't cover a bed. And lastly is Cam Thomas, a 6 foot, 330 pound slob. But he is still going to be their best nose guard, which is a shame. The Steelers have yet to replace Casey Hampton, but that's what's on my mind. Pittsburgh Steelers didn't do a bad job in the offseason with veteran free agents.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. Appreciate it. And your insights, too, because I'm wondering how early you're going to eat steak this year.
I'll tell you what, I'm getting there about 5
Breakfast.
hours early.
Breakfast.
I don't know if I'll make it to Roger Goodell's first pick, brother.
You're not going to make it.
No.
I'm taking some odds on that. Even money, but he don't
99
make
to 1.
No, that's a long shot. Even money.
You've seen
means
him in
you're-
action, folks. He rarely makes it to that, and I don't know how he goes to movies with you girls.
No comment. We'll revisit this stuff. Chip the Prophet Hayner, you've picked a couple in the past. I don't know how you do it. What's on your mind?
Sometimes, Alan, it's just better to be lucky than good. But
Amen, brother. We're all for
you
that.
know, hey, I had the horseshoe hanging the right way yesterday. But
Quit bragging.
Hold it. Did you have the horseshoe hanging down or pointing up? Because if it's pointing down, you lose.
apparently, if you picked Kentucky, it was hanging down. But really, what's on my mind is that it seems.
And that's Horseshoe for the family-friendly show that we have.
That's right, because
Go ahead. All you can do is dig
I've been known
deeper.
to step in it every time and again. But right now, what's really on my mind is how a small school in the northeast of the United States has basically become the basketball capital of North America. And you think about this, University of Duke, everybody talks about the tradition, Mike Krzyzewski and Tobacco Road and multiple national championships. Connecticut has won 4 men's national championships since 1999. They've won 4 in the last 15 years, and that's as many as Duke has. And, you really have to attribute all 4 national championships to Jim Calhoun, because Kevin Ollie, who is now the head coach of the national champion Connecticut Huskies, benefited from a recruiting class recruited by Jim Calhoun. Shabazz Napier, the starting point guard and tournament MVP, was recruited by Jim Calhoun. Mm-hmm. And I guess he's suffering the same fate that our friend Mike Tomlin has suffered in Jim's immortal words, who's benefited from Cowers players. Kevin Ollie has benefited from Jim Calhoun's astute recruiting tactics. But with his recruiting tactics, also made University of Connecticut ineligible for the tournament for the last 2 years. To fulfill the penalties that they had. But the thing that's even more amazing, and I will get into a little bit more in depth to this in Chip's Trivia tonight, is what the University of Connecticut women's basketball team is on the verge of doing. And I'll just tease it for that, right, like that for now. But that's what's on my mind.
Stay tuned. Don't go to the bathroom, folks. Thanks, Chip. I appreciate it. What's on my mind is we got Pirates. They won 2 series already, 2 out of 3 in each. They're in Chicago. I think they'll be playing, at 8 o'clock or so?
8:05.
Okay, you'll be able to hurry up and switch that channel after we're done. So I'm all in on the Pirates. I don't need any of the chip Kool-Aid this year. And we'll go from there. We'll revisit that. And the other thing is, for people that are worried about the Penguins and Dan Bylsma, so am I. But Dan's mixing it up a little bit. All of a sudden, we got players that are resting. And I like that. I think you have to do that once in a while to mix it up. And we need some help on the third and fourth line. I don't know if we'll get it. We need injuries to heal up. Because right now, there'll be excuses because we're going to the postseason. And I wish them the best of luck. Let's go Pens. That's what's on my mind. Now we got our revisitation segment, and I first want to jump in on the Calhoun and KO taking over that. But you have a guy that got caught, his hand was in the cookie jar, they got banned and suspended. Now, they did have a winning record, and they did win a championship with Calhoun. Then they were banned. But you did have these guys get coached up, because how do you keep people on the team fired up, staying there and playing good basketball if you're not coaching? Calhoun was nowhere to be seen. And they did win the whole championship out of that.
And you know what, Alan, I agree with you, and I brought that up as a shot.
No, I got that, but some people take it as literal. And we do a lot of inside things here.
But for the record, that Napier, he wanted to transfer immediately. They lost 2 stars to transfers. So, I mean, not all he had his work cut up for him. And he had to be in the shadow of that Jim Calhoun. And he put him in the kibosh for 2 years with the sanctions. So, I mean, his back was really up against the wall. So, I tip my hat to Kevin Ollie. He did a fantastic job.
And since you brought Mike Tomlin in, that's one of my favorite subjects.
Y'all don't talk this much Black in Black History Month in February. Man.
Well, you can see how dark it is in the corner here. You're our inspiration. And as far as
my hero,
as far as Cowher, 8-8 his last year. Tomlin took over, and now he's reverting back to the mean. 8-8.
Yeah, but look at some of the statistics with Cowher, though. When they were leading it going into the fourth quarter, the man had an impeccable way to finish out a game. Like, Mike Tomlin could learn a lot from watching some old school Bill Cowher. Because, for starters, Mike Tomlin doesn't even know how to use his timeouts. He's
Cowher had that issue, too.
Zach, you may be a bit young to remember about how a certain Mr. Cowher benefited from inheriting a Chuck Noll drafted team that took the Steelers to several AFC championship games and to a Super Bowl that they lost to the Cowboys.
Well, there's a fix involved in that.
So, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So one Hall of Famer led to somebody that Jim insists should be in the Hall of Fame, which leads to another Steelers coach that one day will probably end up in the Hall of Fame where they all belong. But I wanted to speak to one other thing I heard here in Alan's opening set. He's glad to see that the Pittsburgh Penguins are resting some of their players, getting ready for the playoffs. What have they been doing for the last 6 weeks? Pretty much the same, haven't they?
No, I disagree on that. I disagree. That's why we have opinions here. Those are not facts, just opinions. Because you can make up whatever you want. That's what we do here. So some of the time
we like to have fun with each other, and laugh a little bit. But yeah, Jim was mentioning about what the Steelers did in free agency, and I think really that marks a trend that the Steelers actually had to get on board with, because you see all these other teams in the NFL that are making themselves better by picking up people in free agency, and that's something the Steelers have never done in the past. What do? Handful of free agents over the last 20 years. But the only way that they were going to get this roster to get a team that can vie for the playoffs next year, they weren't going to do it all by going through the draft. We got 9 draft picks, but they had to replace some of the pieces, and time will tell if these moves in the free agent market are going to pay any dividends.
I don't think they're going to pay any dividends. Both of these guys are bums. They couldn't cut it for the other teams.
So we're
bleeding from so many. Yeah,
we're rebuilding.
Yeah, we're bleeding all over. We're hemorrhaging, so we're just bringing in whoever.
When you bust
we
the
need
cap,
warm bodies.
When you bust the cap, not in the streets, but on the program with the Steelers.
I thought you was Deshaun Jackson.
No.
Come on.
But look what happened. They were overloaded with their caps. They got certain guys that they would lower, what they're making per year to get money up front and extend it, and it was just blown out. They were beat down.
29 catches for Hayward Bay over the season, and it's not like he was playing in a bad offense.
Hold it. They're
filling. A bad quarterback.
They're filling spots. when you don't have a team that's complete. Smoking Jim's been telling us for 2 years this would happen. Now it's here, and he's happy they picked up guys that can't start. So
you didn't mention Moats either. You missed Moats.
he don't like Moats.
I didn't hear Moats.
He
He
don't
don't like Moats because he ended Brett Favre's consecutive game streak.
Yeah, you didn't listen to that. He's mentioned that before.
Brett Favre's his boy. See?
And this cornerback that we signed, he runs a 40 and 4.3 flat.
That's when he first come up.
I mean, that's
What's he
pretty
doing
fast.
now?
He's still about this
About.
same speed, because when he gets burned, he'll run you down. He'll chase you down.
Well, that's good.
So does Taylor, though. So, I mean, it's not like we're not in familiar
You
territory.
telling me at least he'll get in the frame when the guy's crossing the goal line?
Hold it. What's his name again? What's his name? Because it'll be always catch in front of
McKay.
McCain.
Like John McCain?
No, he's
my
too
favorite.
old. He don't know how many houses
That's my
he has.
favorite. Great American.
I don't know about that. A political show will be another time, but just
Mr.
check
McCain
out
on Die Hard. That was my favorite.
McClane. That's McClane. John McClane. Here, let me put a light on that guy. We need more light there.
220, 221, whatever it takes.
224. Any more revisitation here? Or?
No, I think we beat that
I mean,
horse.
Cam Thomas, it's going to be hard to replace Casey Hampton. I mean, Casey Hampton was an enigma. He was a great player that served us well in his time, but it's hard to replace guys like that. It's going to be hard to replace Troy Polamalu next season when he's finally done. And not that he wasn't done a couple seasons ago, but I mean, he's still
He played
around.
a whole season, so that's remarkable.
It is.
Steelers always seem to be able to do it, though, with a strong safety. Cornell Lake, Donnie Shell,
Good
Troy
point.
Polamalu. So,
And if they're a few
Tiny
field goals
Edwards.
away and a touchdown here or there, 11 and 5. That's
from
how
the
close.
Steelers.
All you need is a few more points. Can they just hold on at the end and manage the
Horseshoes
clock a
and
little
eggs.
bit better? Because Cowher had that issue, so it's traditional for over 20 years. He couldn't manage the clock if he wanted to, but he had one great thing. He had a line that could block, and they could run the clock out. Because when it come down to making a choice, check the tapes out, Z.
Oh, I watched tapes.
Well, then you got to understand Cowher missed a lot of those timeouts and management of the clock. He was too busy hugging some of his players and giving them a kiss. I mean, let's face reality. Those are facts. It's on film. All right, enough revisitation unless you want another comeback on that one.
No.
Okay.
Nope, you got me.
All right, our next segment is Sip Sports Bar. What a nice place it is. Packed the house again with a lot of fans and friends, a lot of great guests. The video's not up yet. It didn't get edited and put all the graphics in, so you have to wait for that maybe tomorrow. Dave Cable, he's doing a heck of a job. He edited 13 shows last week.
wow.
So that's all the things that are coming in.
Heck of a job.
We're firing in boxing, Jessica Lee Jazz Networking, plus we got a basketball with the Police Pals and the Steelers. Zach Brenner, I heard he did such a great job that the police are calling me up to see when Charlie Batch is coming to Sip Sports Bar. I've already had 4 people get a hold of me. Hold it a second. Charlie's one of the busiest men in the city of Pittsburgh doing a lot of good. So you got to watch. There's only one
I don't know
other guy.
why Jim Frazier's laughing, because we say the same thing about Jim
No,
Frazier.
no, you didn't let me preface it. Hold on.
He's busy with Luke Ravenstall.
No, Luke Ravenstall wasn't busy doing
Chuck.
good.
Chuck.
Smoking Jim is the only other guy that's busier in the media because he disappears, because he's doing other things. He's
Yeah, and
gone.
that's why I give a shout out to Charlie Batch. At least he'll stay till the end.
Yeah, but we don't know which game he's coming into.
That's fine.
All right, we'll find out.
One
That's
thing about
coming
those Steel
attraction.
Valley guys, you can't cut them from the team. They still show up playing on the basketball team, even though he was cut 2 years ago. He's still pooping with the Steelers.
I'm glad we're with the
Shout out to Ross Ventrone. If he says that about 16, you got to feel the same way about number 40, Ross Ventrone.
He's not
Yeah.
on the team either.
You're feeding right into his ego, his immense ego. He doesn't let it out all the time. All right, Sip Sports Bar. Look at the $3 Sunday specials.
Oh, that's still going on?
I guess
What's the small print at the bottom?
it says fish sandwiches that are huge only on Friday. You know what they are.
Can be changed at the
That's
owner's
it.
discretion.
Smoking Jim will tell you. He's been there every Sunday. He's there all the time. Monday is Pittsburgh Sportsline. Come on out. We've had great guests. You got to check out the video. Just awesome. We had a new hero of mine, Vince Brasco. Unbelievable. All the surgeries he had.
He's a beast.
He's an inspiration.
He is an inspiration. I mean, it's a pleasure to meet guys like that, and his coach Tad, and just a lot of great guests that we keep having coming up there. Stay tuned for the next few weeks. We've got some more MMA people and others coming on, so a lot of great bouts. Boxers are coming. Stay tuned for some of Smoking Jim's best friends, Jimmy Savetic, Michael McSorley. If they could bring the trophy with the Donnybrook, that'd be great, but I doubt that. I did see it, though.
They're only Jim Frazier's friends?
Well, there are ours too, but I'm trying to bring him in because they wondered where he went. So I have to keep mentioning his name. They see Zach Brenner and Al Levine everywhere. So they're wondering, where's Smoking Jim? I had people come up to me at the end.
You know, if I might say so.
Go ahead, you can
Jim,
interrupt.
you could make it to the end. Like, we don't expect you to clean up or do anything. Like, don't feel like you got to duck out before the work because you don't want to do the work.
Hold it.
You could just
There's
hang
so
around,
much
man.
work. It's
Brenner Contracting will pick up the
lose
slack for you, buddy. Man. All natural too. No pads.
Come there Tuesday nights, Campidi's Pizza, 50 cents. No, 50 cents a slice. Smoking Jim got some on the way, I think, because he just made it in here.
When's wing night?
We're going to have to see how his co-pilot was. Wednesday night, they got all kind of specials. Thursday's wing night. The wings are great. I was there 2 weeks in a row, Smoking Jim, and we missed you. The wings are great. I didn't have as many as, with you as the touchdown maker and you, but Zach held me back a little bit on there. He said,
Oh, yeah, I held you back. When has anybody ever known you to hold back when it comes to eating something? Like, come on, check the tape on that, folks.
No tape.
Check the tape.
No tape. Friday night, they have entertainment. Saturday night, happy hour specials, food specials. Check it out. And then we're losing the best waitress in SIP's history.
Brandy.
Brandy
We're
is
losing it at a Hard
having
Rock
a last
Cafe.
week. If you would have stayed around 5 more
Yeah.
minutes.
If you would have been at the basketball game, I broke that news live at the basketball game. Devin Shea.
Yeah, she's taking a job. We'll discuss that off air, but this will be Brandy's last week. So you have to go every night of the week.
When's her last
Just
week?
go down to the Hard Rock.
I don't know.
Yeah, she gave her 2 weeks last Thursday.
Yeah.
I go to the Hard Rock.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
where you got to go.
And that's our SIPS Sportsline segment there. We covered a lot of territory. Now we go to one of my favorite. You guys are too much in the sandbox there. Quit kicking sand all over the floor here. Fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Just real quick,
No, take your time. You don't have to hurry. This sounds like a good one.
if we can get a close-up Rookie of the Year, you'll see a
Well, hold it still.
lot of the Stiller greats
Quit shaking.
on here.
Come on.
I wrote this article, and you can see a great photo of Al Levine.
Try to go down to the bottom,
the
John.
Talking Machine.
Okay,
There
now
go
pull
Al
that one in
Levine.
big.
The Talking
Go
Machine
big.
is there.
Bigger.
So I'm gonna give this. I'll pass it around now, but I'll give this copy.
I was
to,
there, folks. Smoking Jim Frazier, I was there.
Yeah, we.
I'm just not looking at photos.
You're in the video.
Yeah,
I'm in the video.
I whited you out.
No, there was actually a blackout. There was a blackout, Z. You got that redneck going today.
But I'm
so.
gonna give that copy. I'm gonna give that copy of the newspaper to the Point Park student Naeem. But what's on my mind is
No, your fiction and
my
fact.
fiction and facts from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Easy.
Goes all the way back to Friday night. We're at the Priory Hotel Grand Ballroom, and was it beautiful?
Yes.
Only cost $5,000 to rent that
listen.
out. So if I ever get married, that's where the reception is going to be, brother. But
Are you allowed to marry 10 women at one time?
I'm retired, but if I ever come out of retirement. But hey, but we were honored to have the Midwest Princess was there, and she was in top of her game, Alicia Sparks. I tell you what, she pulled up in her brand new BMW, and she was well received. They treated her like a celebrity. and she can't wait to come back. Did an awesome job for us. But just wanted to talk about 3 fighters. 152-pound Caleb Parrish. I am very impressed with him. Not only did he beat the best fighter in Ireland, in that Team Ireland, Team USA boxing match, but he's only 18 years old. Won a split decision against Amani Eberhard. And I tell you what, I think Caleb has a future in boxing professionally. How about Keontae Irving? Keontae Irving.
Yes, sir.
You're up on your ebonics.
Always.
But this guy, he has to be the next Tommy Hearns. Very impressive fighter.
Wow.
I tell you what, he's being trained by Tommy Yankello, and I think he got a great, great future. And of course, my favorite fighter.
JT the Brick.
He was there.
141 pounds. Danny Buckley. He won. He beat the Marine, Rosie Morales, and I tell you what, Johnny Spells, who nobody will fight until he gets to Philadelphia, won by a walkover. So boxing is alive and well in the city of Pittsburgh, and that's what's on that was Fiction and Facts from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks.
Pittsburgh Boxing Championships.
Yeah, and it was a great finals, and it was a great crowd there too.
Pass that paper back.
Can't wait to see the food.
It's right here.
You and your papers, man. We don't want, you can have them.
No, they're expensive.
I know.
It's $1 on the street.
Probably gets it for
All
free.
right, Chip the Prophet Hainer. It's Chip's trivia time now.
$1 gets 50
I know I
free.
teased a little something in my trivia section, and I think I'll make you wait just another second longer. And being how Jim was proudly bringing to our attention that Black History Month was February, I thought I'd throw in a couple of nuggets to commemorate the
It's April.
Yeah, I know. So April 8th is a very significant day in Major League Baseball history. Okay,
Hank Aaron.
April 8th was the day that Hank Aaron became the home run king in baseball, a record which he still holds now.
Black Power.
And he hit his 715th home run off at Los Angeles' Al Dowling. And he did this at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. It was the Braves' home opener where he broke the record before a crowd of nearly 54,000.
Were you too young to remember it?
I was not at all.
You remember that?
Hell yeah,
Wow.
I was 13 years old at the time. So yes, I remember it well. And also April 8th in 1975 was another landmark day in baseball. Frank Robinson became the first black manager of a Major League Baseball team. He made his managerial debut on April 8th, 1975 for the Cleveland Indians. Not only was he the manager, he was the player manager. And he inserted himself in that lineup as the designated hitter and hit a home run in his first at-bat.
What a smart move, huh?
Wow.
So, a little shout out there. But, okay, to get back to my teasing. Now, something is happening.
NCAA.
The 8:30 is tip-off tonight, and this is the first time this has ever happened in
Two
men's
undefeated
basketball or women's basketball.
Undefeated.
2 undefeated basketball teams will vie for the NCAA Women's Championship. And this could also be record-setting in a number of ways. This could be Gino Ariamo's 9th national championship, which would break the record that he holds right now with Pat Summitt. They are tied at 8. Pat Summitt was the Hall of Fame coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. Also something that if Connecticut wins the national championship this evening, they could do something that only one other team has done in NCAA history, and that was the 2012 Baylor women's basketball team that completed an undefeated season at 40-0.
Wow.
So we got Notre Dame at 36-0. We've got Connecticut at 39-0. One thing we do know, there will be an undefeated basketball championship in the NCAA Division I women's division. So that's it's something pretty outstanding to acknowledge. And the last time that the men's national champion and the women's national champion came from the same school was in 2004, and that was done by University of Connecticut. Wow. So, thinking back about the dominance that this Connecticut University has had in basketball, they have been to a total of 15 Final Fours, and of the 15 Final Fours that they've been to in Gino Ariamo's tenure there, they've won 8 national championships. Now, that compares to Pat Summitt's record at Tennessee. She made 18 Final Fours, and of which she won 8 championships, and she's retired now. Pat Summitt and Gino Auriemma are tied at eight each on the national championships. Tennessee has been to the finals 13 times. They've won 8 championships, and 5 times they were runners-up. That's UConn has been to the championship 8 times. They've won 8 times. Tonight would be their 9th, and I'm thinking that they're going to put number 9 up on the
Are you making a prediction?
Notre Dame? For trivia purposes, for the folks watching at home, how many NCAA women's basketball games have you watched? If it wasn't going to be this one for its 2 undefeated teams.
I've watched the women's championship pretty much for the last half dozen years.
So you like women's college basketball?
I love it.
I love watching the finals of the tournament. I love watching the basketball teams.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you hear your partner in the sandbox, what he does? He watches it all the time.
So, that being said, I just thought I'd give a quick rundown of the undefeated women's basketball champions in NCAA history. The very first one was in 1986. Texas entered the NCAA March Madness tournament.
Smoking Jim started watching that in diapers back then.
And they ended up the championship winning 34-0. 1995, Connecticut went in to the tournament 30-0. They won the tournament 35-0, undefeated champions for the first time. Tennessee, 1998, they entered the tournament 33-0. They finished the season 39-0. 2002, 2009, 2010, Connecticut, undefeated champions. So they've done it 4 times already. This year could be the 5th. And they're going to tie the record of the Baylor Bears, who were 40-0 in 2012.
So there's a lot of parity in women's college basketball, you're saying?
No, there's only a couple teams that can play like that.
No, that does not describe parity. That describes
they're the only
domination.
2. It's like elite.
That's the definition of domination, not parity.
Great job, Jim. Hey, one thing we should start here because, like I said, I love women's basketball ever since I went into the locker room to interview after the Pitt Notre Dame game a few years back.
You know where Swing Cash is from?
He loves Swing Cash.
Here's something that we need. Here's something that we need to start. A campaign that we need to start. Al Levine, I want you to take the lead on this. The number 1 scorer in Pitt basketball history, men and women, was at our event at the casino. Jennifer Bruce. She's number 1 and does not have her jersey hanging from the rafters. We should do that. And another great basketball player, an Olympian that everybody knows, is Susie McConnell. So this area, and plus Swin Cash. So this area is very well represented with women's basketball history. But let's get on the campaign to get Jennifer Bruce's jersey hanging from the rafters.
When's she coming to our show?
Hey, one of your
Anytime you want her.
One of your favorite Pirates is actually the all-time home runs leader. You know that, even though it has an asterisk next to it. You know that, right, Chip?
Who's that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Barry Bonds.
He's the greatest.
Barry Bonds is actually the home run champion, but there's an asterisk next to it.
Well, we're not really revisiting some of
Well, I'm
this
just
stuff.
saying, in the book, it says Bonds at 1, though.
No, he was just saying Hank Aaron broke
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth's record.
And he
But he also said that his
Yeah.
record stands to this
He
day.
made a
though.
comment.
Did you say that?
Yes, I did.
You missed that.
You must have turned your
Barry
head.
Bonds'
You must have
record
turned your head.
is not acknowledged as far as I'm
See,
concerned.
Chip writes books like
man.
the people that win wars. You know, when they don't win a war, they
Never
suck.
happened.
No. See?
Huckleberry Finn over here.
Yeah. That's what he was doing. Yeah, he slept it in, or slipped it in. You were sleeping. That's what happened. You missed it. I don't know what happened.
Alan,
I was
My
surprised.
wife watches this show. Be careful.
Okay. Whoa.
She will be home soon.
I don't know. I think he dropped that horseshoe. Hey, we got Z time. Let's get serious. We got another segment here. It may not be serious, but it's Z time.
That's why Dave Cable have a hard time with all the editing for it.
He has to watch every second of the show because of you guys now.
Hey, could you do me a favor, John? If you could zoom in into my hands, and then zoom into Jim Frazier's hands, I want you to see the difference in hands. No, I'm just kidding. I mean,
No blisters here.
yeah, those hands. Are
We don't want to know why.
Those are writer's hands. got some Oliver Ray hands.
Wasn't that the former quarterback of the Steelers? Bobby Blister?
Order on the set. Order. It's Z time. Order. All of you.
You riled them up, so you got them, kid. It's the
my
sandbox. I'll give a shout out before you start. Jim Kaiser. You didn't know this, but he's the guy behind Pittsburgh Sports Pride. He come home to get his license and all that. There was a fire right next door. He ended up saving 4 people's lives, and he ended up going to the hospital.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and he didn't tell you. So if he did give you a pick, I'm giving a little disclaimer that maybe he was a little bit under the weather or sick. He also, his lungs, he inhaled a lot of smoke and he had to go to the hospital. And this was just a few days ago when he come back to Pittsburgh. So he did that, so shout out. He watches every show now. He's our biggest fan in Vegas. He come back home to Erie right now and he'll be heading back out. He wants to get go to a Pirate game or something with us sometime.
That's where Fred Biletnikoff is from, Erie.
There you go.
A Russian receiver.
Nice.
You got a boxing segment? Or
Yeah, we were going to bring a boxing segment in.
All right, well then we're not going to talk boxing on Z-Time then. Trying to keep it kosher.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Here, I got boxing at the end there because I figured we'd try to wind that down, and I appreciate that. So maybe we'll get you some salami here. Since they're in the sandbox, these are all opinions of ourselves, and if it offends
well, you
any
didn't
of you,
give a
we
disclaimer on
apologize.
gambling earlier. If you want to go back and revisit that.
Yeah, I always give that disclaimer.
I know,
it's
well,
a
you missed
family
it.
show. I know because I didn't believe anybody was betting with them. Because I know I did, and I agreed with them, but I didn't put a dime up. It's all friendly stuff that was on last night's show. It's still a disclaimer.
Nobody got to see last night's show yet, so.
All right, the disclaimer's still alive.
Yeah, we all.
Those are the opinions of Smoking Jim, a known gambler. And he gave you his one resource that he uses, so.
Well, I will say this, though. For being a known gambler, he still has all his limbs. So, he's not the worst gambler I ever met. He's still got all his eyes and his limbs and his fingers.
Hey,
And
guess who
I don't know
keeps
about his
Tony and
toes.
all that macaroni?
Well, rumor has it, man, they just go for his calves. They spotted a weakness and they exploit it, folks. Those Gateway boys, man, they're weak in the
And
calves.
if anybody wonders, I'm not making it up. He admits he is. He even says segments like that. So that's why we have a disclaimer on it. We're not promoting gambling. If it's a friendly bet, I mean, we understand that. Cities do that when there's a Super Bowl. Presidents do that with other countries. So you can have fun. Our founding fathers used to bet on horses, and they owned horses
I
back
think
then.
President Obama got a bet with Russia right now.
It's not working out on the Ukraine real well. They lost half a country.
Crimea.
But, all right, Z, let's get we're done with the politics. We hit on it twice already. Z time again.
Hey, one last little nugget,
gee.
little fact for you folks. Through the same amount of games of his career, Marc-Andre Fleury compared to Patrick Waugh, which is one of the most legendary goalies to ever play between the pipes. Marc-Andre Fleury is actually blowing away statistically all the stats of Patrick Waugh, and Patrick Waugh is a Hall of Fame goaltender. So shout out to Marc-Andre Fleury, who's playing one of his best
exception of
seasons.
Stanley Cups.
Through the same, did you not hear me, folks? Through the same amount of games. Through the same amount of games played right now, they have the same amount of Stanley Cups. One apiece right now, through the same amount of games at the same point in their career.
Get your smartphones out, boys,
Correct.
and kick the sand off. Let's see
Correct.
the facts.
The facts are there, folks. The facts are there. I got $20 to back it up.
Whoa, we're not promoting gambling. I don't know how this happened again. There's a lot of competition on here. I think the money starts talking here.
Well, I just hope that, like I said, the Penguins can find a way to not have a power shortage and play a little bit of defense in front of Marc-Andre Fleury. Because keep in mind, we wouldn't even have the first Stanley Cup if it wasn't for Marc-Andre Fleury. So you could have all the star power you want up front. Those guys sometimes fall asleep at the wheel, and you still got to have the goaltender to win the game. So if it wasn't for Marc-Andre Fleury, we'd be even worse trouble than we're in right now. So always keep that in
And
mind.
this just in, Thomas Volkun has been sent down to Wilkes-Barre to get play himself into game shape in the event that he's needed for this Stanley Cup run.
And
Because
that's
Thomas
not Z
Volkun
time.
has
Now, do you
won
have your
how
point
many
on
cups?
Z time, or what are we doing here?
What'd you say?
What were you going to talk about? The Penguins?
That was
Yeah, that was
We're
Z-time.
done with it? Because we got a lot of rebuttal on this stuff.
That's
There's
fine.
Z-time. You
It's
okay with
controversial.
that? Okay. I'm just checking with you.
Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Hey, folks, folks at home with your copy of Pittsburgh Sportsline, the magazine, turn to page 5, and you will find Brenner Contracting. Smoking Jim Frazier, if you'd be so kind to read right here what that says right there.
General plumbing.
Okay, sir. Anytime you need a plumber, sir, you just pull out this magazine right here.
That was one general. He didn't study
because
account.
I got so much more respect now for plumbers. Like I told everybody last week, I paid $150. The plumber was there 15 minutes to snake one of my whatever. But plumbers make money, man. I should have called you, Z. I got your business card now.
Next time nature calls, knock on your neighbor's door.
Hey, not only does he have his business card on the air, I'll make it official. I'll flip you for little
Oh, I
Z.
got it. That's nice
You
catch.
got nice hands with those soft hands.
And that's what he scouts for, folks. NFL scout extraordinaire. Hey, I got some promos I wanted to do. The guys were so excited. Where do you want me to hold this here, John? You're going to do
Take
it?
charge, John.
Can you just pull it up there? Because I can't read it like this. All right, that's the Battle of the Bands. One of our favorites. Miss Freddie's going to be there. And this is the benefit Camp Raising Spirits. It's sponsored by the Greater Pittsburgh Chapter of Oncology Nursing Society at the Sokol Club right on East Carson Street. Nice location there. All proceeds to benefit Camp Raising Spirits. Doors open at 6:30. Now that's April 25th. That's a Friday night, Smoking Jim. Mark your calendar for your cousin. She said there's no excuses, so come on out, right on the sheet. Now we got another promo for her. Now, we missed this, but I just wanted to at least put it out there to show you what she's doing out in the neighborhoods. This was on April 5th. And she just does so many things and charitable events and fundraising out there that follow Miss Freddie there. Thanks, John. Then we have another one. We went into some of this last night. You have to see it. But here's the Rangers' schedule.
Oh, yeah. Ranger up.
Did they run out of colored ink in Steel Valley?
They're like you, that they like black and white. It's your favorite color, as you say. Now,
Keep it simple.
can you get it so they can actually see the schedules at the bottom? I wanted to at least publicize this.
What games are
Hey,
we
you want me-
doing?
I'll just read it. You want me to read off?
No, we can read it, but I was trying to get a...
It's hard to see.
Okay.
Look at the tiger.
Oh, we
No,
see
no,
it.
he can do it.
Go ahead. Rookie of the year.
No, this is his sophomore year.
Yeah.
This is his second year. Everybody's in the mix right now. Devin has a huge lead on John right now, so you got to work with him a little bit. This could bring him back. Here, you can read it, Zach, since I want to announce Zach Brenner is now the assistant head coach of the Pittsburgh Rangers, a semi-pro football team. Bill Miller was there when I saw him anoint my man. He gave him a little crown. Look at the hat he's wearing. Put it on his head right like that. Tell him the schedule, Z.
Well, on Saturday, April 26th at Duquesne High School, we're going to kick it off against the Oil Region Rampage. Saturday, May 3rd against the Akron Raging Raptors. May 10th against the Strabane Spartans. Saturday, May 17th against the Pittsburgh Stealth. And then here's a game to look forward to the day after my birthday, Saturday, May 31st against the WPA Wildcats. We got a lot of ex-Wildcats on the Rangers. Saturday, June 7th against the Greensburg Panthers.
When y'all play the penitentiary?
Saturday,
They
June
got some
14th,
recruits.
we return against the Oil Region Rampage. Then Saturday, June 21st, Pittsburgh Pride. Saturday, June 28th, the Stealth again. Then another big game against those Wildcats on July 12th. Saturday, July 19th, the Greensburg Panthers. And then finally, they wrap up the season on Saturday, July 26th against the Oil Region Rampage. And folks, this schedule is subject to change. And at any given point, I could go from coach, security, to player at any given moment's notice.
Oh, congratulations, Zach Brenner. That's our little promo segment. Glad we got that out of the way. I did want to talk a little Bucko talk because they've been doing so well this
Before
year.
you do that, when's
Yeah,
the
go
game?
ahead.
When's the first game start?
April
The
26th.
26th.
April 26th. Okay,
Yes,
this
and that's a
month.
home game.
That's this month.
And that'll be at Duquesne
That's
High
in
School,
Duquesne?
That's
Okay.
2 weeks from Saturday.
right behind West Mifflin football field, for those of you not familiar.
They got natural grass there at Duquesne, so.
I don't think it's starting to grow yet. I got the early report on it.
That's
Brenner
where we're going to play the
Contracting-
penitentiary at.
Brenner Contracting, Smoke and Jim also cuts grass, grows grass, and he'll even oil a field and light it.
I know they shoveled
So-
my snow one
time.
Yeah.
We still don't believe it. There's no verification of that.
No peds.
All right, can we go to some Bucko talk here? I mean,
What do you want to talk about those Buccos?
What do you think? Is it for real? Are the Bucks for real?
I don't think that question really needs to be asked anymore. I think they've proven it time and time again. The Pirates are contenders.
I think it's too early to even begin to say that.
With Vegas, I took the under on 84, so.
I think you're smart.
You're not going to get me on that one, Jim. You're not going to get me on that one.
He's trying.
We know, Chip. We know. You
Right
love
now,
the
the Penguins
Pirates.
are starting a 9-game road trip, and actually, yesterday was their last day off. They've got 21 games in a row coming up without any break. They've got 3
Really?
against the Chicago. They're going to Cincinnati for 3 games, up to Milwaukee, and then they'll be back home the following weekend. There's a 3-game series with the Brewers here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates are, following the recipe that took them to success last year. They've got, an incredible pitching. They've got great starting pitching. They do have the best bullpen in baseball. And they've got, they've found a way to score just enough runs to win ball games. And that's the recipe that's been working for them. It's going to keep working. We're developing young talent out of our farm system. Unfortunately, Jamison Tyone suffered a setback, and he will have
I gotta
Tommy John
disagree with
surgery.
you.
Tommy
I
John.
said he should have had it immediately because all these pitchers should get it because they all improve.
They all improved, but to be honest with you,
It strengthens
a
up your
statistic
arm.
that I heard yesterday is that of all the major league teams, the Pirates actually have some of the lowest numbers in Tommy John surgeries, and they say right now probably about a third of the pitchers on major league rosters have had the surgery.
Well, I would
at
say
one time
in the
or another.
2000s we were leading that because at one point we were drafting guys that were blowing out their arms at a rapid rate.
Yeah, but what you don't really see is what's going on in other organizations around baseball, and it's a problem because throwing a baseball is a completely unnatural movement for the way your body's developed.
At least give Neil Huntington and the organization a lot of credit. They've improved in leaps and bounds in the scouting and drafting department. We wouldn't even be in the position we're in right now if those gentlemen didn't step it up and really bring their A game because we were picking a lot of busts, and we were picking first a lot because we were terrible.
And the biggest mistake that we made was when we were picking a lot of players that are now stars on other Major League Baseball teams, is that we'd get a prospect and we'd trade him for a washed-up veteran who was at the tail end of his career hoping to squeeze a little magic out of him trying to get
One
over
season.
the hump, And so what they've done now is they're not willing to part with the quality players they have. And as a matter of fact, Clint Hurdle was I heard an interview with him where he said that every single major league team over this past winter called Neil Huntington and asked them what do they need to offer in trade to get Tony Watson. And I mean, Tony Watson right now is one of the best. I do. You seen him pitch?
Who's Tony Watson for the folks at home that might not know?
Tony Watson's a middle reliever, left-hander for the Pirates. He throws in the mid-90s. He's got wicked stuff. He and Justin Wilson are the 2 best left-handed relievers in baseball. Any team would, they're not going to give what they would actually be worth. But we're not going to give them up because they're.
Well, you said a key thing: left-handed relief pitchers are at a premium. If you have a son out there and he throws right-handed, make him a lefty. He'll be a multi-millionaire right out of high school.
And if you homeschool him, you got all day to work on his
You only got so many pitches, brother. That's the difference. It's not like you in football. Well, you do blow out ankles and knees, but you only got so many pitches.
But the Pirates are making some smart moves. Pretty much, they've got their outfield locked up for at least the next 5 to 6 years. They got Gregory
Marte.
Polanco, who is
not up
forecast to be up by about June, July. He's hitting the cover off the ball in Indianapolis. He was 3 for 5 the other day with a home run. He hasn't played many games in
but it's
AAA.
right field that's
He's a
our
right
Achilles
fielder.
is right now because we're solid with Kutch and Marte. We're right now that is the
They
position
got
that we
Polanco
could
they'll have Polanco for
solidify.
6 years. So they've
And
got
it's-
Marti for 6 years. They got McCutcheon for the next 5. So we're going to have probably the fastest outfield in baseball by the end of the summer.
So is
here.
Ishikawa your starting first baseman now?
The funny thing about Hurdle is because he's such a sabermetrician, he won't come out and say that Ishikawa is the starting first
And
baseman.
when you say sabermetrician, you're referring to the numbers and statistics.
Sabermetrics.
Yes. Sabermetrics is what rules baseball a lot now. There's a lot of statistical fact finding going on. But right now you're saying that Ishikawa is not your starting first baseman. We've played 6 games. He started 5. He's starting tonight.
What's his name?
Travis Ishikawa.
I thought we were talking about Die Hard 1 again.
But
McLean.
Pirates are they're in a great place right now. They're a lot of fun to watch.
They were, and the fireworks were
The guys
great
that own the
on a
building,
cold
okay.
Saturday night. Little Z and I watched the fireworks thanks to Chuck
Couldn't
Bonasort.
buy a hit in that game.
Well, actually, if you you watched what happened with that team last year and the year before. What happened? What the Pirates' biggest problem was, everybody was striking out and striking out and striking out. And I was at the game, and and every time the Pirates got people in scoring position,
There was 2
they
outs.
hit the ball. They hit the ball hard, but they hit it right at somebody, which is going to happen. I mean, you looked at what they did with Pedro Alvarez after crushing 2 homers on Friday night. They did not give him a strike to look at until the 7th inning. The first strike they threw him, he crushed it, and he hit it right at the right fielder. The right fielder didn't blink. He didn't move. He just put his glove up, and the ball landed in it.
And we see that after you score 12 runs one night, it comes back. So,
But it's just one
One
of those
run.
things. I mean, baseball's a game like that. They hit the ball hard, so they weren't striking out and swinging at a
But
bunch. of
baseball's one of those games, though, where there's so many games in consecutive order through the course of a season where you almost have to shake it off and just get on with the next night.
Short-term memory.
Yeah, bring it back
That's
hard
all.
the
And
next
that's
night
one
and
of
just
the
forget
things
all
that Clint
about
Hurdle has been
It's
really,
such a long
really
grind.
good with instilling that in his players, because whatever happens in the game they just played, he tells them enjoy it, or if it's a defeat, shower it off, come back tomorrow ready to play
Give
again.
me a break. I think that streaker knows about as much baseball as Clint Hurdle. This guy had 1 year. 1 year. Now we're talking about Clint Hurdle like he's Jim Leland or something.
Okay, you don't remember when he took Colorado to the World Series?
1 year.
You got a short
No.
memory. Yeah. Because
All right,
This is a football scout, not a
Stick
baseball.
to scout and
What does he know
football.
about that?
Jim,
Stick to
I will keep you up to date on what's going on in the world of Major League Baseball.
All right, we're done with baseball. These opinions are their own. Whether I agree or disagree, we're going to move on. We got boxing, a lot of great things happening in boxing, and I want to kick that off
And
with
MMA.
Z. You
Is
want
it
to?
just boxing or is it MMA?
Let's get the boxing out right now because you've been itching for that. Talk about our friend Rod Sulka.
And the Undertaker laws.
That's wrestling. That's
We're not
That's-
doing
we're-
wrestling.
That's
That'll
called
be
bas-
next
They
week.
call basketball.
And the Masters, that's golf. No Tiger.
No
Will
Tiger.
you watch?
And we're not going to that stuff. All right, boxing's over. That was it.
another
See
major-
Rod Sulka.
Lightning Rod
Vasquez,
Sulka.
April 18th.
Monroeville Convention Center.
He didn't want to mention
Showtime.
Monroeville, but that's where it is.
Hey, that's where it is.
We're
That's the
working
name
on
of the
our
place.
media passes to get there. It's very tight.
And don't forget my exclusive interview May 15th with Iron Mike Tyson. It's going to be exciting,
Hey,
ladies
and
and gentlemen.
a little shout out to my friend Addison. This is going to be another year where Tiger Woods does not win a major tournament.
Oh, he does have a lot of injuries and surgery, so we'll see.
Chip Hayner's making a lot of friends over with the mayor of Munhall right now.
Mayor, I'm with you on Tiger. I said he will win another major.
I think the smartest thing that Tiger did was shut it down, get surgery. If you're hurt, you're hurt. You took the juice. You didn't take the juice. Whatever.
He took the juice.
Well,
You're breaking down, as Alavine
the
says.
surgery that he had
Yeah,
done.
he's broke down.
The surgery that he had done, he seems to think that he's going to be back maybe in time for the U.S. Open. But most people that have had the surgery that he had done, they said that it's 8 months to a year at the earliest.
They don't
that
have
they
his money
expect to-
either.
Well,
And
money doesn't have anything to do with
They
it.
don't
does.
have
You
the
get the
Reverend
best-
Ray
yeah.
Lewis with the deer antler
Yeah,
underwear.
They got
It's coming
hyperbaric
back.
chambers. They got
Deer antler.
Yeah, they got deer antler. They got all kinds of coconut oil.
Coconut oil, too.
What
on
happens
top
to
of
the
it.
body as it gets older? It starts breaking down.
Listen, there's guys that are still playing great golf in their 60s right now. There was
Yeah.
a gentleman South African Tony that I played golf with down in Daytona was 74 years old, and he could play better than all of us here at the desk with no problemo.
And he
No, he can play better than me.
probably
Better than me.
shoots his age.
Yeah, with no
Which is
problem.
good.
It was hitting it effortlessly.
No, that is.
I caught it.
I didn't mean that
And
as
the
a
funniest
dig.
thing,
Take it
and the
offensive.
funniest thing I took from the day was he said, mate, he said, you're so naturally strong, mate, because I'm just crushing the ball off the tee.
How's
That's
your
all I
short
could
game?
look terrible. The only thing I could look forward to was driving the ball. Like that was it.
That's-
And then the back nine was water. And then
That's
all,
what an old timer
it all fell
told me
apart.
once. He goes, you know, you guys try to hit the ball 300 yards. He goes, I hit it 200 yards right down the middle, and I'm putting for par in every hole. And I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, I'm not out of the woods after 4 shots.
Correct.
And that's our golfing segment.
Hey.
What, did
Now
we
you want
cover
to talk
boxing?
about? We'll talk about
MMA?
boxing. He brought up the Undertaker, and let me say this: Vince McMahon never lets anybody go out on top. It doesn't matter what you've done for the WWE. Like this man will find a way to tarnish your legacy, and that happened on Sunday night with the Undertaker, who is now 21-1 in WrestleManias. He lost to Brock Lesnar. He could have lost in the last 10 years. You know, they let this streak go for 21 years and then have him lose. It's
He beat the Pirate streak at 20.
Jim Fraser, you would have thought somebody important died. The way this crowd reacted, like there was almost a near riot. Like people didn't even know what to do with themselves. You know, I've never seen anything like it, and I'm laughing because I'm like, this is fake. This is studio wrestling.
I
it's
know
not
it
fake.
did.
It's
They
not
went to
fake.
Walmart on
It's
the
not
way home
fake.
to their trailer.
Let's get that straight. It's not fake. It's real. You don't slam people around, throw them outside the ring, drop. People have died in wrestling.
Yeah.
There's nothing fake about wrestling. It's
The
combat
only,
sport.
the only thing that is questionable is the results. And if you look at sports, there's a lot of questionable results in other sports. So I'll give you that, Smoking Jim.
Boxing for one.
A lot of blood. A lot of blood in wrestling.
I understand that. What about MMA, Zach?
I'm just looking forward to May 3rd in Johnstown at the War Memorial. We got Chris Dempsey's going to step back in. He's a
The
monster.
Beast of the East, I call
He's a
him.
monster. And I like to give a shout out to Greg Rudolph as he recovers. That's a monster in itself. I can't wait to see him get
We're
back
trying
in
to
the
get him
cage.
on the show. We're trying to negotiate that to get him to come back on our show so we can actually film that again. So.
And let us not forget May 16th, brutal Brendan Barrett. Brutality will reign.
And AC.
And guess what, folks?
And May
I will
22nd.
be there.
May 22nd.
I will be
we'll
there.
at the ball
And we'll
game.
be at the ball game
Yeah,
on May 22nd.
Pittsburgh Sportsline at the PNC
Maybe they'll
Park.
put us on the big screen.
You can do it. Zach and I saw. All you got to do is promote it, and they'll take a little photo during the game.
I'm ready.
We're
I'm
working
the
on
PR
that.
guy for the Pirates.
Don't
Black
forget
guy.
them Pittsburgh Sportsline shirts, huh?
Yeah. Well, they almost worked. We
Hey.
just needed about 15 more sales.
Chip got the right shirt on.
Hey, I only ordered 8 of them.
I know. You didn't order enough.
You needed to order 30.
People didn't understand that you had to go online and give a credit card up. So
Hey, we got
we'll go back.
37
We'll get
seconds
some
left,
going.
guys. We're winding down here.
Thank you for watching the show. Thanks, John. Thanks, Carl. Thanks to Devin out there, Dave
All our
Cable.
fans,
We
our
appreciate
sisters,
it.
my cousins in Florida,
Naeem?
Ohio.
Naeem, come in here. He's getting a full Monty here on what we do. So I hope you enjoy the show. And we appreciate all the likes on Facebook. Thanks for accepting all the magazines that are out there. You'll see them everywhere. Zach keeps taking photos wherever they're at. So this one's going back to Smoking. Jim, I still got a few. I've already given out about 4,000.
I've already got
so.
one on my coffee table.
All right, sounds good. Good night, folks. See you next week.